most of them were buried in poor grounds, this is in Dublin now, in poor grounds and unconsecrated grounds. So one of the famous poor grounds in Dublin you may have heard of is Bully's Acre. It's at the back of the Royal Hospital in Kilmainham. I don't know if I have any visitors here from outside Ireland. Where are you from? Are you from Germany? Canada, oh very good. It's in the centre of the town, anybody else. It's near Kilmainham Jails, the Royal Kilmainham Hospital. Bully's Acre is up there. At one stage it got so bad they were burying 500 bodies in the space of about 10 days. So it was getting out of control. Now, the Ease of Actment of Burial Act came in 1824. And after that, it removed the repressive penal laws that allowed them to build a cemetery. And Daniel O'Connell set up a committee to establish this cemetery here. He wanted a cemetery where people of all religions and people of no religion, so a non-denominational cemetery, would be there for Dublin people. So the committee bought some land in Golden Bridge, again in the centre of Dublin. But we soon outgrew Golden Bridge, and 9 acres of land was purchased down here in the area called Prospect, that end of the cemetery. 9 acres was bought, and that was the original entrance and everything is down there. And it was consecrated by Monsignor Yore in September 1831, and 5 months later we had our first burial here. It was a young boy called Michael Carey. He died of TB, and at the funeral it was just himself and his father. Because in those days they didn't like women to go to funerals. We don't know why. Maybe the church didn't like the women going to the funerals, or there was some theory that women were far too emotional and they could start crying with grief. Anyway, it wasn't the custom. There you go. Thank God that's changed. But his mother wasn't that. But his gravestone is down there right beside the original little gate. If you have time later, I won't be going down there today, but if you have time later you can go down and you'll find the little gate. It's very nice sentimental little place, I think. Now we soon outgrew the 9 acres and more land had to be purchased, and it became known as Glasnevin Cemetary, which is what we have today, and that comprises approximately 124 acres. Now I'm not going to make you walk all around the 124 acres, we have to here, thank God, Zeus, but 20 acres of that is across the road in what we call St. Paul's Plot. I can't bring you across there today for health and safety reasons, they don't allow us to bring tours across there, but there's a few famous people over there. I'm sure some of you, I'm sure a lot of you know Luke Kelly, the Dubliners. Yeah, he's buried across there. And if there's any Man United fans, sure there are. Plenty of Man United fans always on the tours. Liam Whelan, one of the Busby babes. He was killed in the Munich air disaster in 1958. He's over there. As is Rosie Hackett. They've recently named a bridge after Rosie. Now she was a well-known Dublin activist, a revolutionary. Female revolutionary, unusual in her day. She was also, she set up the Female Women's Union, and she was trained to be a printer. And she says that she was there when they were printing out the 1916 proclamation. So she's a very famous lady, Rosie Hackett. And finally then we have Christy Brown of My Left Foot fame. Remember the movie? Well, that man, he's buried over there as well. So if you have time, again, you're welcome to go over. It's an place. So I say this cemetery now has 1.5 million people buried in it.
Sorry, how many?
1.5 million. Yeah, which is extraordinary when you think that the population of Dublin is 1.3 million.
Wow.
So there's more people buried here than there are walking around Dublin. So you can understand why all the wits in Dublin call it the dead centre of Dublin. Quite apt, I think. But also just to tell you a little bit of history, it's nothing really to do with the cemetery, but it has a little bit of history attached to it. Down at the Prospect end was the famous Cavanagh's pub. Now, when the cemetery was opened, the people who lived, the neighbours who lived in that house decided here's a great commercial opportunity, you know, there's going to be loads of people coming to funerals, so they opened a pub. And they were doing very well. Until one day the director of the cemetery looked out the window and he saw 3 coffins piled on top of one another outside the pub, while all the mourners were in having a few drinks. So he said no, so he pushed to have this gate here opened on Finglas Road, so they'd avoid going by the pub, which was grand. Now you would think Cavanagh's were out of business then, but no. They decided then they'd cater to the grave diggers. And it's now called the Grave Diggers. Cavanagh's the Grave Diggers pub. And the grave diggers used to knock on the outside wall and they had little jars. Because the landlady said, no, I'm not giving you a lot of glasses or anything. So they passed in the jar, she'd fill it with beer, and she'd pass it back out to them. And that's where the expression came, are you coming for a jar? Came from Cavanagh's pub in Glasnevin. So it's a bit of useless information, I suppose. If you all want to go for a jar afterwards, you know where it is.
Just been
walk
there.
around there. It's just-
Yeah, it's lovely. We just went down there, yeah.
Did you? But
So we probably had a jar.
You had a jar, good. God, was it open? I didn't know that.
No, we got them told us.
Okay, well, it's very nice for lunch and that if you want to go down.
Yeah.
And on the way out there as well, if you walk all the way down that avenue, I say you come to that gate, you see cabinets. And actually there's botanic gardens down there as well now. So if you wanted to go for a little stroll. So we have a lovely garden cemetery here. And would ask you now to join me in the journey around our lovely Victorian garden cemetery. Now just a couple of things. The tour will last about an hour and a half. You're welcome to take photographs if you like. If you have mobile phones, if you wouldn't mind putting them on silent, because this is a working cemetery and some funerals could be passing by and we always give way to funeral traffic. So also there are a few curbs out there that are a little bit dangerous and careful you don't trip. And in O'Connell's crypt, there's a curb stone around the tomb. I don't want you to fall in the crypt, of all places. No, thank you. I don't want that to happen. So if you'd like to follow me now, I hope to God there's going to be no rain. Let's keep our fingers crossed, okay? No. So follow me down to the first rain.